Hello, and here we are at Perfectly Paranormal, episode 164. My name's Anna Schmidt, and I'm here every week, to share with you true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. And today you're going to hear how grief is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, draw card emotions for demonic entities. And this is around living people and also sometimes spirits as well. Emotions, very strong emotions such as grief, fear, hatred, paranoia, they each carry a different vibration. And some of these vibrations are stronger than others, and that's for various reasons. And I'm going to share some of the ways to ditch the negative emotions, and then the demons that lap them up will just simply move on. And as I always say before I get started, I am not a doctor or a mental health professional. So these suggestions that I put forward today are purely from what I've used for myself and from an energetic perspective as an energy worker. And I know that entities are attracted to us because of the vibrations or the frequencies that we emit. Now, I know this from my own personal experience. I always experiment on myself before I do work for anyone else. This is what I did years and years, decades ago. I did a lot of work on myself, and I noticed differences when the negative vibrations were removed. I talk about resentment all the time. That's one of my big emotional triggers that pumps out quite an interesting vibration. I don't create it anymore. I don't attract the entities to me that like resentment. It's simply how it works. Take away the food source, they move on to somebody else. I know that sounds harsh, but we can't do anything about these demonic entities. You don't hurt them, harm them, or kill them because there are millions of them. You don't want to upset them. And I found that out very early on too. So grief, I think, is one of the biggest because it can be long term. Quite often if we get angry, we'll get angry in short bursts of anger and then it sort of dissipates. You've had your say, you've moved on. Grief becomes a vibration that sinks into our physical body and our energy body, depending on how you handle grief. It's all very individualistic. I'm speaking about this from a generalized point of view, if you want to look at it that way. But grief sends out a vibration, and there are entities that love grief because they know that if they hang around grief-stricken people, they can trigger the person. They can get in their dreams. They can show them whatever it is that they're grieving about, so they create more grief, more sadness, more sorrow. Grief has a lot of depth to it. There's sadness, there's sorrow, there's depression, there could be guilt, there could be shame, there could be blame attached to the grief. But these entities can heighten people's grief because they want you to stay in a low mental and emotional state, because that will end up affecting your physical state, your physical body, your mind, your consciousness, your subconsciousness, the way that you function daily. They want us to be low because then they can feed on your energy. If we're all low, when we're not bright and light and happy and working on improving ourselves and living a good life, they're going to keep feeding on us. If we're doing all the high vibrational stuff, they get repelled and they have to move on and find another food source. Now, grief is not always about losing a loved one. It can be lots and lots of different things. It can be a sudden, unexpected change in your life that leaves you feeling lost or struggling to cope, such as maybe a divorce, a job loss, an extreme trauma that has made severe changes in your life, loss of a cherished pet, or your home, or the loss of a friendship. Now, I can give an example on this. This one still plagues me to the day. Like, I'm not grieving about this person anymore, but I still don't understand why our friendship just ended. It just ended. Maybe it wasn't good for us to be together anymore. I don't know. But I don't. And occasionally I think about this person and I say, God, I'd really like to just see this person one more time, give her a hug, wish her well, and let it go. but it hasn't happened. I asked for that quite a few times. It hasn't happened, so it's not meant to be. So, brief story. I had a very long-term friend, a local lady that I met here when both of our children at the same age were in the same grade, the same school where I used to work. And it was a 20-year-long friendship. And all of a sudden, this person just stopped communicating with me. And she was the one and only person in those days, like in my early days of doing this work. I didn't talk about it. I didn't have a podcast, didn't have a YouTube channel, didn't talk about it on Facebook. I was sort of stuck with it going round and round and round in my head because anyone you try and talk to about this just thought you were a nutcase. Well, she didn't think I was a nutcase. We aligned so much and we would get together maybe, I think it was probably every 3 months or so, and we would just have lunch at either her house or my house, and we would just talk for hours and hours and hours about all our experiences, what had been going on, what we'd learned, what we'd failed at, paranormal experiences, because she was quite a draw card for paranormal beings, demonic beings, like the whole lot. Like, we just had such good fun together. So you can understand why, in those days, I was grieving a little bit when it stopped. Like, I felt lost without this person. But demonic entities do try and use isolation with me to put me on a downer. They are sneaky buggers, aren't they? But I do wish her well. And I hope she listens to this. She probably won't, because this is only a small podcast and it doesn't reach lots and lots of people. Grief is a natural part of human life experiences. We can't avoid it. And we all deal with it in different ways. Physically, mentally, emotionally. We're either introverted with it or we're extroverted with it. You know, you can't sweep it under the carpet and you can't ignore it. You can't ignore grief because it festers. The vibration gets bigger. The bigger the frequency, the more demonic entities you attach to yourself. I mean, they never travel alone anyway. They're always in groups for their own safety. There's always more than one. Because the more of their numbers that there are, the bigger their impact of trying to penetrate your energy field or penetrating your dreams and creating negative energy that makes you feel more grief, which is what they're doing because it's just what they do. They feed off what we create. Don't create it, they move on. So what I've put together is how many ways? I've written them down. 5 ways. I knew it was only a short list. I like to be concise. So the following suggestions on ways to deal with grief that throw off demons. This is how I've labelled it. I've written them in relation to the loss of a person, and they may not suit everyone. So as always, you see your doctor and a mental health professional to discuss your healing needs to move on from the grief. But these can also be adjusted to the loss of a pet or a home or anything else that you're grieving about. And I'm sure if you got online and typed in, I'm grieving about whatever the topic is, how can I help myself? You'll get lots of suggestions. These are just 5 of the top ones that have worked for me and worked for some of my clients, things that they've shared with me. Number 1 on the list, and I do love this one, celebrate the life of the person that you are grieving about. And this is what I mentioned when I think about my friend in that short story that I gave. I see her face, I see her smiling, I see us sitting around the table, eating a roast lamb dinner, she cooked the best food, and just talking about all things paranormal. Now, it can be, depending on your personality, it can be as big as a party with close friends and family to celebrate the life of a person. Or it can be happy thoughts about happy times that you spend together. Now, I also did this because both my parents aren't here now. They've both passed. And I've also lost 2 dogs. Our family has lost 2 dogs over the years. And I still think about the good times. And I laugh about the funny times. My mum, God love her, she was a wonderful woman. Boy, she was a pain in the ass as well. Like, seriously, she really kept me on my toes. And I do love that about her. Whatever it does that puts a smile on your face when you're thinking about that person, that smile on your face and those happy thoughts shifts your energy for the better. It pumps out a different vibration, which repels demonic entities. They don't like it. When we're happy, when we're being positive, when we're bright and sparkly, they can't cope. They'll just move on to the next person that's grieving. I know that sounds horrible, but really and truly, when it comes to demonic entities, you can only look after yourself unless you're an energy worker, or your kids if you're a parent. Now, number 2, if you're grieving because you've parted ways with someone, and say they pass away suddenly in a car accident or something happens and you didn't get a chance to resolve an issue that's been troubling you with this person, you can always talk to the person in spirit or the pet. They will hear you. They do. You're putting out that vibration. It will hit them. They will hear you. You say their name, you see them in your mind. This is why I say to people, you don't need to do seances, use Ouija boards. They just get you into trouble. They open portals and let the demonic entities in. Those sorts of activities are unnecessary. They are demonically driven as invitations. People who participate in those activities are opening themselves simply by being present. You've put out the invitation. If you're sending love to a past loved one who's passed away or you're thinking about them, it doesn't create a portal. It doesn't create courting. You're simply thinking about your parent, your pet, your friend who passed away, or a home that you loved. You built it, you loved it, and you had to move out, or it burned down, or whatever you're grieving about. Think happy thoughts. Talk to whatever it is that you're grieving about. They hear you, and believe me, you will feel better for it. There can be some need for mental health care, depending on the person, their level of vulnerability, their level of mental and emotional stability. That is always necessary for people. There's counsellors, if you can't get into a psychologist or a psychiatrist, plenty of online counselling like Lifeline, like Kids Line. People you can talk to who are trained in helping with mental health care. Now, number 3, if your grief presents as anger, because sometimes people don't always get sad, they get angry. You can look up online safe ways to release anger and you'll get probably lots and lots and lots of suggestions. You know, the old screaming into a pillow. Some people go for a run. Some people sprint. Some people swim. I'd go out and I'd do gardening. I'd prune. I'd go out to the garden and I'm like, right, I'm going to focus my energy, that really busy anger energy, because I don't get angry hatred, I get angry restless, like I can't sit still, I'm feeling annoyed about something, I need to do something physical. It's about me finding an activity to release and change my vibration. All grieving, releasing activities need to lift your energy. It's always about finding positive solutions that will help you. And we're all individualistic. There are so many different ways to help yourself out there. If you can't think of them, get online. See your doctor, see your mental health professional, talk to a counsellor, talk to friends, family. But don't sit and wallow in your grief, because it doesn't help. Remember, the vibration you put out attracts the demonic entities. When you start to change that vibration in a higher way, the entities are like, oh, I don't like this. Oh my God, it hurts. It hurts my head. I can't cope. They'll just move on. It's really simple. They're not going to hang around anywhere that does not suit their needs. Now, number 4, if you're a churchgoer, if you're a religious person, talk to your priest. Go to confession. Or you can attend any support groups. It can help you get through your grief. There are lots of ways to work through grief. You've just got to find the one that works for you. Now, number 5, focus on what you still have in your life. Because quite often we focus on what we don't have, and that makes us low. That attracts the demonic entities. I know I keep saying that, but I've got to try and drum it into your head about what you create, the vibrations that attract these beings. Don't create the vibrations, they won't come. They're still going to be in the earth environment because that's what they do. Remember, all dimensions, all overlap, all in the same place, all at the same time. They are simply here, but you don't have to interact with them. They don't have to interact with you. So focus on what you still have in your life. Demons hate it when we focus on the positives. And I love that. That makes me chuckle. Like I have these really lovely images of me being all bright and happy and my vibration literally pulsing out this light, and the entities they just get blown away. Like, I'm not wishing them harm. It's a visual of them just being propelled away from me. So if you work visually, work on changing your grief vibration through images. Use words. Use your energy. So I just think about my energy field being full of, I don't like saying love and light. That's just poo-poo spiritual BS to me. Being full of happy, positive, bright, sparkly energy. And when you think like that and you're full of that, they're not going to come to you because they want you to be miserable. Don't give it to them. This is where you start to play the game. It's actually a game. Like spiritual warfare, it's a game. Are you going to fall for temptation and ego and get all the shortcuts and everything you want in life? Or are you going to work hard and earn it? And then you feel like you've earned something. Because that's the higher road. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn, grow, evolve, take control of our lives, not fall for what's in the devil's playground. I'm actually going to do an episode soon on surviving the devil's playground. And yes, it will probably have a list as well, because I like lists. Helps keep my brain on track, makes it easier and quicker for you to understand. So, grief takes time to remove. Don't rush yourself. It is something that is really, really plaguing you. Use lots of different methods to help you work through it. But making a conscious commitment to working on it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and seeking professional help if you need it. Do that. Sometimes it can be hard to get into mental health care. I know that from people that I've spoken to who said, look, like there's a 3-month waiting list. What am I going to do? And I've said to them, get onto these support lines that are a phone call away. They can help you until you can get in to see a mental health professional. Be proactive about finding help for yourself. And you can also do the self-care things that I've mentioned, but also there'll be other things online. And some of the other personal things that you can do for yourself to lift your energy. Quality sleep time, enjoying healthy food, making time for relaxation, and getting to exercise, and not necessarily in that order. Because the demons following you are just going to give up. They just are. And isn't that kind of funny? That kind of makes me feel quite happy when I see them just throwing their arms in the air and moving on. Now, I'm sure that I had demons hovering around me when my parents passed away. But I didn't handle it like other people around me. Like, I don't cry that often. I talked to my parents when they'd passed. My dad actually showed up in the lounge room because he passed in the home and I stayed with my mum for a couple of nights. He was present in the home. I saw something that I'd never seen before. It was literally like 4 hours after he died. I woke up. Quick story. I woke up. I was sleeping on the couch because Mum was in her chair. She didn't want to go to bed. I woke up and I was fully awake because when I get woken up, I'm awake. I'm never half asleep. And there was this staticky, sort of wavering image in front of me in the shape of a person. Now, in all the paranormal work that I've done over the decades, I've never seen that before. And there it was in front of me for about, 5 seconds. And I went, oh my goodness, is that you, Dad? And then it disappeared. He was a very spiritual man. So I reckon he was trying to show me and trying to prove to me that, yeah, I'm here. Isn't this great? Isn't this cool? So I always laugh about that. That makes me feel quite happy to know that he came to go, yep, there is an afterlife. I'm here. And I've never seen that. Well, I have actually seen it since. That's how I see spirits now. So spirits, let's quickly cover spirits still in the earth reality and if they have grief. They do indeed. Spirits in the earth reality can sometimes be carrying their own grief. And the grief of seeing how other people are reacting to the loss of that person can actually create grief in spirits. So when we do all the positive things that I've mentioned today, the spirits are like, oh, they can cope. I'm happy about that. We may have some unresolved issues, but I'm sure when they pass, we can talk about it and resolve them then. Spirits' grief and our grief can actually hold our loved ones here, whether it's people or pets. I've still got a little orange dog that runs around this house. She didn't pass away in the house. She passed away at the vet's. But I had someone tell me, very, very quick story. I went to see a random lady one day with another friend, and I didn't even know she did psychic readings. And neither of them knew I had an orange dog. And anyway, we're sitting there having a cup of tea, and she went, "Oh, you've got an orange dog here. Oh, your orange dog is still in your house." And I went, "Oh, that's nice." I knew exactly who it was. And we talked about it. The dog's here because it chooses to be. I've asked a few times, "Do you want to go to the light?" "No, I'm happy." So the dog's happy being here. I'm not grieving about her loss. I don't think she's grieving about not being here because she's still here. I mean, does she know she passed away? She might not. But she's happy. I'm happy. She's happy. When spirits release their own grief and see that we're not grieving about them, then if they choose to, they can transition into the afterlife. I've worked on homes a lot where there's been spirits present, and I always ask them, I call in Archangel Azrael and Archangel Raphael, and I ask the spirits, are there any emotions that you want to release? Grief is quite often one of them. Grief, distress, hostility sometimes, and sadness, sometimes loneliness as well. They're the emotions that spirits quite often want to release. If I help spirits identify them with words, which create a vibration, that the archangels then just way the emotions go. The spirit feels lighter. They're not, I don't want to say the word trapped, they're not attached to the earth anymore. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. They're not attached to being here because of their emotional baggage, and away they go to be with their friends, families, pets and partners in the afterlife. It's really simple. Like, none of this stuff is hard. We humans make it way too hard. So I hope you found this interesting today. I really enjoy sharing this information with you. I only have a small number of followers, but you know what? Numbers aren't important. These episodes will be on YouTube forever. If I ever stop podcasting, they will leave all the podcasting apps, but they will always be available on YouTube. So, in episode 165, I have an odd little question to share with you. Can people become demons? Now, most of you will instantly go, no, and I said no as well. But there's lots of other interesting sort of information because that question is quite ambiguous. So as you know, I don't like ambiguity. I think that's how you say it. And I unpacked this quite a lot. So I look forward to sharing all my unpacking of the information about this question for you and for Jess, who is the lady that asked this question. So I look forward to spending some spooky time with you next week. If you like the content of this episode today, please think about leaving me a rating and a review. What reviews do is they let other people know your thoughts about my supernatural subject matter. People love reading reviews, and we're spreading the word about the real paranormal world around us. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today, and don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.